Hello, this is Stephanie Toman, and this is about revising or practicing what you've learnt with the video-based learning. So if you sit and watch videos, if you're going to do the advanced presentation, in this case, presentation qualification, to sit and just watch the videos, I'm afraid, is not enough. You could have previous skill sets, which lots of us do. We have a multitude of different skills that we picked up from different areas. But the thing is that if you're learning something new, or changing the way that you've learned something in the past, in other words, there's a more efficient way of doing it, then unless you put it into practice, it may not come back to you, may not be able to recall it in an exam or in the real world if you're working at work or on your dissertations or other assignment work. So you do need to practice it. Hence, there's a way of practicing. So you can see on this slide, we've got all the resources. This is all on the YouTube videos as well. So all of the resources will be everything you need to go along with the videos. This was the case for all of the advanced. So you can pick up those resources, you could open the same documents, PowerPoint slides or spreadsheets or workbooks, and go along with the way that it's being taught in small chunks. Then what you can do is go to the weekly revision practice paper, which is still in all resources, so all your learning and practice is all in the all learning resources, and you can look at those resources. There's a paper, there's work files to work from, and there's a solution paper as well. If you're still not sure about certain areas, there's an added little extra which is in this link here, and this link will show you the weekly revision practice videos, so it show you what's expected from that question and how you go about doing the most efficient way of answering it, because there's no one way of answering quite a lot of the IT task questions. So this should hopefully help you to understand how you approach all of the questions from 1 to 22. Okay, thank you. So let's have a look at those. So what you need, first of all, you'll find the paper itself. And what you're looking for, let's just jump to the top, is something that says Advanced Presentation Weekly Revision, not the exam preparation one. Okay, so make sure you're in the right one. You also need to make sure, in order to answer these questions, 11 to 13, you need to make sure we have the right files. So if we just minimize that, when you're in Aula or files that you've been emailed or files from the W drive, you should be looking for a 227MP or advanced presentation, and you're looking for a weekly revision folder. It may not be numbered, but that's what it will be. And in there you should see presentation weekly revision work file. So this is what we're going to work from. If you've got the wrong files, for example, if you had manual files or files from the exam preparation paper, then it won't work. So make sure you've got the right files so that you feel comfortable. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's go back to the question and let's do the question together. So question 11 on the section charts, create a new blank presentation with one blank slide layout. From the weekly revision files, copy the chart from the account file to the blank slide, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at the rest. So first of all, in PowerPoint, I'm going to do a new one and make sure that that layout is a blank slide. So we've got a blank layout, and we're going to go and open, so back to your work files, presentation. Yours should be on the desktop, makes it easier, and we're going to open up account. So there's the chart it wants us to copy, so click on it, copy, minimize that, and then we can minimize the files and we can right click and paste. So it's now in this PowerPoint presentation, still presentation 6, we haven't named it yet. So what it wants us to do now, if we go back to the question, so align the chart to the middle of the slide. We could actually, if we wanted to, view these, arrange all. So I could actually just minimize this one and bring it in slightly so that I can see the chart. And you still need to see a certain amount of the question. And then I could do that to that as well. Minimize that. And there we've got them alongside each other. So use the minimize and drag them in, as you can't use the view because they're not the same application. So here it says align the chart in the middle of the slide. So we'll use the format. We'll use the alignment feature in here. You might see yours better, but if it's squashed up, it'll look like mine. And then we'll use the align middle. If it's a little bit out, like there, and you try it again, you'll see that it does do something, because I think I placed it pretty much in the middle. Okay, so now it wants us to add a chart title. So remember the good old chart elements on the side. We can do chart title, and then we can just type in sale versus profit. Then it's asked us to format a legend to appear at the bottom. So once again, click on the chart. There you go. Go to the legend, and you want a legend at the bottom of the chart. Change the chart type for the sale data series to display as a line chart. So the sale data series is the blue. So right click, remember, change series chart type, change the sales into a line, anyone you like, and then OK. That's that part of question 11 done. So now we're going to continue with question 12. So continue with the chart, set the major units for the vertical axis to 250 with a pound and currency format, pound sign and currency format. So remember, right click on the vertical axis and then format axis, and then you can get into the areas here. So what's the major unit changing? This one. So they could be very different, these questions. Make sure your number lock's on if that's what you're using in the exam. Okay, that's done. And then it wants us to go into the number at the bottom. Scroll down, and you've got currency, and you should make sure it's a pound symbol, which it is. And then it wants to set the gap. So we can close that. And on the gap's going to be on the profit. So right click on the profit, format data series, and then your gap, you could knock that off and make it 50%. Okay. Once you've done that, we're going to do a secondary axis for the profit. So right click, format axis to get to it, but look, it's already there. So sometimes if you're not in there, you have to do that again, but we are in there, so we can do it all in one go like that. It's starting to look more like a decent chart now. We're going to fill that data series profit with solid diamond pattern. So right click, remember fill, down into texture, and you can find it here in the more textures right at the bottom. Pattern fill, and we're going to use the diamond pattern fill. That's a solid diamond pattern fill, solid diamond. There it is. Good. Okay, then we're going to add an entrance, fly in effect by each category. So I think we can watch this happen. So we're going to maximize this. We're going to go, we've got them all highlighted. Okay, so if we check the question just to make sure it was an entrance effect on these. So if we go into animations, fly in, and then we're going to make it by each category, by category. There we go on, so it's on both of them. And then we're going to save the presentation. We've viewed the slideshow. You could go into it and look at it like this if you wish. I'll just change my display because I've got more than one screen. Then you can see it on a click, each click. Okay, and escape to come out. So we're going to save it then, File, Save As. You always use the browse in the exam. Remember, you're browsing to the Z drive, and you'll see the Z drive normally sitting here with the Z in brackets, the local drive. and you make sure it's at the top, and then if you're asked to name it something different, you would name it there, and then you would save. So let's just save that as chart. I'm just going to put it onto my desktop because I don't really want to mess this up with what I've got already. And I'm going to probably call it chart test, but you just call it as it should be, and save. Okay, so now we're on question 13. Let's go back to our paper. So create a new blank presentation again with one blank slide out layout. Insert a continuous block. So it looks like we're doing the flow chart. So I'm going to just minimize this a minute. Let's get a new one. Let's change that layout to a blank. We're happy with that. And then I can just go and close the other one. That we should stay in here. Okay, so this is one we're going to use. Let's bring it in a little bit so you can see better. So if I just bring this over a little bit, and then we bring our paper up again, it might be easier for you to read the question. Remember, in the exam, your question will be across the top of the screen, so you don't need to minimize things like this, and you can see a much clearer screen. Okay, so we're going to create a new presentation with a blank slide layout, which we've done, and we're going to insert a continuous block process diagram. So insert, SmartArt, it's a process, and then what we've got to do is find a continuous. Oh, there it is, that was just look, but you might have to hover on a few just to get the one they're asking for. So there's continuous, okay, and there it is. So it says to add a fourth text placeholder. So if we go to the text pane, do you remember that where I showed you in the videos, if you did watch it, how that can be put away and brought back up again. So if you go to the end, you can actually enter and create another text holder. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in the first one, we're going to type weekly revision. Make sure I spell it properly. Sometimes our fingers don't do what our brain is asking them to do when we're typing. So we've got weekly revision, then online diagnostic. TNC, okay. And the next one we've got sample test. Looks like there's a theme going on here. And then finally we have the exam. We all know this sequence, don't we? Okay, so we've done that. Apply bold to the exam shape. So if you highlight that, just like you would anything else, in the bold, there it is, and that's gone bold, okay? Okay, so now we're going to, in question 13 still, move the sample test shape to the right of the weekly revision. Let's just close this a minute. And so that the outline diagnostic test shape appears at the left of the exam shape. Sounds very complicated, but let's start and keep it simple. Let's click on the sample test. Let's bring the test pane back in again so you can see what happens here. So I've clicked on it, I've got into the design tab, and I've got a promote and demote. I'm going to promote it, and it should by rights come up this way. So watch it here, it should move up. So if I promote it, do you see how it moved from there to there? So if I undo that again, so if you watch it here, this is what we're doing, we're trying to move it to here. Remember, in between. But if we grabbed it and did it badly. So we're going to promote it, and there you've got it, and that's what it's asking for. So use this area here to help. Okay, the final part of question 13, just close that again. It's use layout features, or first of all, apply a design style. So we could actually just go for SmartArt styles. There's some here. We could do, oh, that looks good. Okay. And then use some change colors. So in here, like done in the video, you can get some nice colors and make it look very good. Okay, it looks like more snazzy now. And then the final thing it wants us to do on the question 13 is using the layout feature on the ribbon, select the funnel layout. So it's highlighted, and then we're going to go to the change layouts, drop down, and the funnel, I would guess, is that. But if you hover on it, it will tell you what it is. You can see in the background it's done something as well. Click on there, and then you've now got the funnel, and it asks you to save the presentation as diagram and close it. Remember, when you're saving, do the file save as in the exam, browse to the Z drive and change the name if you need to here. So you're changing the name here, but it makes sure it goes to the Z drive here, which usually looks like that. Okay, so that's the questions 11 to 13 on the weekly revision. Hopefully that will help if you weren't sure about some of the things on there. And I'm going to be moving on to the next section, which is multimedia. Thank you.